Lesley. Welcome to your 2023 tour of Rochelle's garden. Actually, you don't know this, but this is take 2 of this because the first file got corrupted. So now I'm forced to do it again, and I'm doing it at the same time that my neighbor apparently needs to sand a lot of wood. I'm so sorry, there's some background noise. But I'll try and work through this quickly. It's going to be piecemeal, and once I get it all together, I'm sure it's going to be long again. You know I have a lot to say. Anyway, this is my front flower bed. I know you've seen this before. Some changes this year. Number 1 is I got some new planters. You'll notice in this one, the scraggly business hanging here, that's peas. It was a good idea. Someone told me you can do peas as a hanging basket, and actually I bought the peas with a picture on the package that looked like a hanging basket. It's a dumb idea, both because these are teeny tiny peas and they taste quite bitter. So they're not great eating peas, but they always reach up for the sun so they don't actually trail or hang. So if anyone ever convinces you of that, don't do it. The little orange flower in there is Calibrachoa, which looks like little baby petunias, but apparently they're very hard to grow, and I have to agree these are really hard to grow. And the calla lilies that are in there haven't bloomed yet, but they will. Those I wintered over from last year. I saved the little, what is it, like the root of it, corum, something like that. The planter right here is my cilantro planter, and I have already grown cilantro. I got some free seed from a woman who lives near Ronald McDonald's house, who had to get rid of all of her garden seeds, and she had a lot of cilantro seeds. So I threw them in there, but it was, man, so quick to bolt. So I thought, well, whatever, I'll grow it for the coriander seed. So it's currently drying in my sowing room, and I actually have new cilantro seed sown in there. And then this is English thyme. I know I told you last year how much I loved lemon thyme. I still do. I have planted extra lemon thyme because I have a sickness. But I thought I should maybe vary it with some English thyme. Anyway, I've got some coleus. My echinacea is this is wicked awesome. This is the tallest and the best it's ever been. I didn't ever think it would get this tall, and it's shading out my little stargazer lilies back there. And then my tomato plant at the front this year is the spoon tomato. They're like those little tiny currant tomatoes. Oh my God, Lesley, they're so good. When they start producing, I'm going to bring some into work for you. I just can't believe how much pop of flavor is in a teeny tiny little itty bitty tomato. Sorry, I'll race through this and get past my neighbor. Some sweet peas that honestly have had way too much water. And then another spoon plant. This is the foxglove. The foxglove that bloomed so beautifully last year, and it's not blooming this year. I had heard that it takes 2 years to bloom. It bloomed on the first year, not on the second. I'm hoping it comes back again, but I don't know if it will because there will be no seeds this year. And then my incredible hydrangea, such a showstopper, winner. This is my chives. I had to replant them because everyone else can't seem to kill them, but I did. So I replanted them. Now they're kind of shaded by the incredible hydrangea. I might have to figure out where to move that pot. But nonetheless, here's my potatoes in bags. Last year, I did not get very many potatoes, and I know you told me not to ever do them in bags because it's a stupid way to do them, but I did. Last year, when I pulled them out, I realized, you know how I had rolled the bags over, started with a lower level of dirt, and you're supposed to keep mounding it up. And somehow I just got busy with life, and I didn't mound it up, and I didn't pull up the sides of the bag. So maybe I could have got more potatoes, but also I was growing fingerlings, and now I realize I think that's a dumb potato to be growing in Alberta. So this is all Yukon Gold and red Pontiac. Hopefully I'll get some bigger, better potatoes, because at least in the bags I don't get potato scab. So anyway, it looks like a big mishmash mess. I'm just going to wait for it to all die back, and then I'll dig them up. Oh, this is chamomile, because Drew has become a tea lover, and I found some chamomile seeds, and I thought, why not? We'll give it a go, see if he likes it. And the clematis, that I couldn't remember what it was last year, but it's a clematis, did not do very well, did not come back very well. Actually, This little tiny one at the back there, that's the original clematis. This is a second clematis that I bought this year, much bigger. Hopefully we'll have better luck. Maybe one year we'll actually get blooms. All right, I'm going to head to the backyard. Okay, can I just tell you, every time I walk into this backyard, I love this view as I walk underneath trees. Ignore the tipped over table over there. Drew has been making throwing stars and throwing them at a hunk of a log, and now as I'm doing this video I'm realizing he's moved my table. Whatever. These planters right here, that terracotta one that's upside down, it's upside down because I had to drill holes in it. Such a great deal at Home Depot. $10. It was normally $70. So I picked up 4 of them and I've grown some other things in them. Planted some hostas in here, my rhubarb. This is all my shady garden, kind of sucks. This is a hawthorn tree. It took me a long time to figure it out, and I used that Google Lens thing on the leaf to figure out it was a hawthorn tree. I always thought it was just a bush, maybe of the rose variety because it's thorny, and so I've been pruning it back. Apparently hawthorns don't take too well to being pruned, and this is the result. I don't think I want another giant tree here because there are a lot around me, and so this is something that I'm tempted to pull out, along with the 2 scraggly Alberta wild roses that are hanging out here. They've never really performed well for me. They look kind of pathetic, and I think I can get better roses. So, anyway, I do have some more roses over there. This is my usually shady garden, but the tree of my neighbor still mostly dead. And so it's still allowing a lot of light to come through, and I'm growing things much more successfully this year. Do you see these tomatoes? Do you see the color on the bottom? Lesley, look. These are Amish paste tomatoes. Today is August 2nd, and I have red tomatoes. Actually, I've already pulled a red one off. So I had one even before August. I cannot believe it. Now, I don't think that that is from the sun that has now adorned this spot. I think that's because I grew these so well in the greenhouse. Oh, I can't wait to show you. Anyway, throwing in some kale because it's easy to grow, and I keep trying to like it, but I honestly do not. You can see the slugs have a heyday with my cabbages, especially the Savoy cabbage, but I've got myself some BTK stuff and sprayed it down, and some slug bait down at the bottom, and the core of them is starting to perk right up. So I think they're going to be okay. I'll just rip off the wholly extra leaves. They also liked the kale back there, but nonetheless. So some of my tomatoes are smaller, but look at that. That's a Cherokee purple back there. Oh, I am winning. These tomatoes are actually growing so tall. Maybe I'll go back to these ones. I actually had to attach string all the way up to my deck, and I'm just going to keep letting them grow up to the deck. Oh, I freaking love it. You know I love a good tomato, so this is fun. These are the red strawberry tomatoes, black strawberry tomatoes, that's what they're called. And I had them in the front yard last year. They took forever to turn red. In fact, I brought them in at the end of the year. I had only had a couple of them red. They taste so goddamn good. I don't mind telling you. Just love them. So I'm glad I moved them back here. I've got 2 plants of them, and they're really taking off and producing quite a bit. These cabbages are called mermaid cabbage, and they've got I don't know, the picture of them was really purpley green and kind of iridescent-y blue. So I'm kind of excited to see it. Maybe they'll look like crap once they're all cooked up or made into a salad, but I'm sure it'll taste just like cabbage. For Simri's seedling sale, I grew so many petunias, I did not know what to do. So I've just shoved them into the garden. And you know what? And marigolds as well. Looks kind of cute, right? So this is my little garden. I've attached a couple of tomatoes to the front of my archway. But what I've got growing in here now are the one that's trailing up here. This is kabocha squash. And this one's kabocha squash. I do have a pumpkin that's just beyond this. This is a Girardale pumpkin, one of those blue pumpkins. But then Tina found out that we can't grow blue pumpkins here. But I'm going to try. It's already growing. It's on its way. So we'll see. I don't know if you can remember this area from last year. last year I had this trellis, and then to the right of it was this honkin' big juniper bush that was mostly dead with a little bit of green tips, and I hated it. So Carrie helped me. We got it all out. There's a little, that is a little troll cafe with a solar panel that lights up at night. Really cute. The kids love it. And I'm just going to let the pumpkin meander around and do its thing. And I've planted a few plants in there, but I thought that will be a nice extra sunny garden space. And nasturtium, you know how I love that nasturtium. It's so pretty. This is basil. One is a big lettuce leaf basil and one is an African basil. And the slugs loved it too. So there's slug bait in there, and now it's really starting to perk right up. I think I'm going to get a lot of this lettuce leaf basil, which will work amazing with our pizza oven. I'll be doing that all summer. This broccoli that was right here, that was my supper tonight. Amazing. I'm loving it. I'm not getting the hugest heads of broccoli. You can see this one's just teeny weeny coming up, but I am getting like a lot of these little side shoots of broccoli. They look like little broccolini, but they're nowhere near as bitter, and that's fun too. So I'm just going to keep growing them. And then beets are doing great. I discovered beets in a raised bed get much bigger, so I'm super happy about that. I'm going to carry on that plan. And I know the leaves look like something ate them. Something did. It's leaf miner. I have nematodes in the soil now, and I have a plan for next year to cover these plants that are susceptible to leaf miner. And hopefully I won't have that issue, but I don't think it affects the bulbs. This is my onion bed. I decided to dedicate a whole bed to onion because somebody online said, plant what you eat. I thought, duh, that makes total sense. I should do that. We do eat a lot of onions. And I thought, oh, if I plan one onion for each week of the year, I don't have enough garden space for it. But I can dedicate a whole bed to it. I grew these from seed, and I follow this woman. I want to say she's like Canadian gardener or gardening in Canada, something like that. But she's out of Saskatoon. And I started my onion seeds when she started hers. I want to say it was like early March, maybe even end of February. And it's taken all this time to have them grow on. But here I am, beginning of August. Most of them have flopped over, indicating that they are done their growth. And I've got some really decent sized onions in here. So I think this weekend I'm going to pull these out and let them cure. Not that I have a cold room, but at least then they can store for a bit longer. And then interplanted, I have these dahlias. I got a whole bunch of dahlia tubers, and I'm just going to grow them in pots around my garden. I feel like that should be really pretty. Although I also heard dahlias are prone to thrips and bugs. Maybe I don't want that in my garden, but we're giving it a go this year. This bed, I did have some broccoli and cauliflower at the back that I pulled out. It wasn't pretty, but tasty for sure. There's some beets in here, and then right at the front here I had spinach that had gone bolted when it was warm. So now I have bush beans, and on this side I had radishes that got flea beetle. I don't know if you've ever had that. Super gross. Flea beetles don't look like anything on the top, but then they lay their larvae into the radish at the bottom, and they really particularly love radish. So when I pulled them all out, had worms crawling in and out. I think it's turned me off of radishes forever. Honestly, didn't even really like radishes. I just don't think I can do it again. So gross. So nematodes in this bed as well. And then here's my nice bean arch. Last year, I don't know if you remember, I was growing sunset runner beans. And this is what we discovered. Runner beans like that, scarlet and sunset runner beans, they produce a big, flat, wide bean that is hairy, and my family does not like the hairiness on their beans. So I had to find pole beans or climbing beans that were like regular beans. And so we've got these. I can't even remember what they were called. It's not a Kentucky bean. I think the Kentucky bean is the green one next to it, and they'll come later. I have so many of these yellow beans right now, and they are just sweet. If beans can be sweet, they are sweet. I love them. And then at the front, I've got my noodle beans. I've tried growing Asian noodle beans for many, many years and been very unsuccessful for many, many years. But I still have the seed, And now I had the greenhouse, so I planted them and grew them up in the greenhouse and then potted them out here when they were quite a bit bigger. And I do hear that they take longer to take off. So here we are, beginning of August, and they actually have taken off, and I have them climbing up. So I am feeling pretty confident by the end of the summer I will at least have a small sampling of noodle beans. Happy about that. Joan's mum seems to be able to grow them no problem. This is my little cucumber climbing patch. Last year I had this as well, and I have to say I feel like I was able to get my cucumbers up to this point, and then they kind of didn't grow anymore after that. But these beans will probably grow up and over and meet them, and it'll still look really pretty. And I already have a cucumber, where is he? Down there, growing away. So I think by this weekend I'll have a great cucumber there. And there's tons of flowers in there. So I really love this. I don't know if you've ever grown cucumbers or how you grow it, but I really think getting them off the ground right away and not letting the leaves touch the ground has made a huge difference. And then this is one of my 3 chili pepper paddocks. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, I have so many chili peppers because I grew a bunch of them from seed to try and help Simri's seedling sale. And then our seedling sale got totally smoked out. So I have a ton of them, and I just can't throw these away. And I do really love, I don't know, there's something about peppers and tomatoes. So I have a bunch of peppers growing in here. I have some shishitos. I have a big Jim. But back here, I have these peppers that are called Carmen peppers. And I was looking on them yesterday, and there's nothing to write home about them yet. But up on the deck in the veg truck, I have lots. These are cute little, what's this called? This is a Pippin's honey, golden honey, something like that. Anyway, it had a cute story in the seed catalog, but honestly they're pretty small peppers and I probably won't grow them again. And then last year I had pink celery, and this year I got some free green celery seed, and so I'm just growing the green celery. I have to tell you, the pink celery looked really cool, but when I cut it open it was hollow inside, and there were some aphids and stuff growing in there. I washed out as much as I could, and I did chop some up, and it did have a nice celery taste, but kind of not a lot of crunch, mush, I don't know. So, sticking with the green, this, look at it. It's looking phenomenal, and I've already pulled some out and used it. I'm not even really a celery fan, but I do like this stuff. And this, I'm quite happy with. This variegated leaf little thing is an ornamental pepper, although I think you can still eat it, but they did call it an ornamental pepper because it's so pretty with this kind of camouflage leaf variegation. Like, look at this one, like 3 different colors, amazing, and these cute little purple flowers. Let me find, well, it's a little purple flower bud, but little purple flowers all over it, and I know that they're going to produce peppers, and they should be all like purple and cream and orange. So I think it'll be really pretty once it gets going. And I think they're just little peppers. I don't know how hot they'll be, but I'm happy I grew it. Now, brace yourself. Brace yourself. I'm going to turn around and show you my greenhouse. My beautiful, beautiful greenhouse. Ooh, look at that. Look at how pretty she is. I so love it. Now, as I walk closer, you will see I had to put these black angles up on the greenhouse doors. These are the doors that I got from my mother-in-law for free. Turns out interior doors with regular wood glue don't like the heat of a greenhouse, and it all kind of melted and fell apart. So I had to put the doors back together, and now they're held together with these angles. And I think they'll function just fine. But of course, had extra petunias, so I had to put those at the front. These are also cheap pots that I got at Home Depot, $5 a piece. So I put some Lysianthus in there. I know you've probably never heard of that, but I discovered it online, and it produces a flower like a rose that will last in a vase, I'm not joking, 2 weeks. They're so pretty. They take forever to grow, which is why nobody's heard of them, because they take forever to grow. And then this is my little greenhouse, and I think this is where my video ended last time. Look at that pepper business and melons, and on this side I've got a lime and a lemon tree, and I brought them from inside my house where they were kind of sucking, so their leaves don't look great, but they are loving their life out here, and lots of blooms, lots of fruit starts. So I'm just going to tip outside and show you the asparagus patch is looking much better. Last year it was just a couple simple little fronds. Yes, this is also going to be my storage area, but look at that. Now, admittedly, this isn't all the asparagus that I grew last year. My neighbor has a pond too, in case you're wondering where that water is coming from. I love it. But this asparagus, some of it came from my dad's friend Helen. She passed away, and so I snapped some asparagus from her yard. I know that makes me seem like I'm a thief, but Helen was always wanting me to come over and get asparagus, and was happy to share it. And so this is going to be Helen's asparagus patch. All right, now stay tuned. Part 2 is coming. Oh, it cut me off. I reached the size limit. Anyway, they do love it in here, and they are doing better, even though they don't really look it. But there are a lot of flowers on there, and little baby limes are coming. So I'm happy about that. We'll see how that goes. And I've got a basil that I've propagated twice in here, and I'm happy about that. So this is kind of my fun little experimental table. Happy? This is my little sink that I made. I made this. I am so crafty handy. These are leftover drawers that were mismatched from a erroneous error of Simri's closet organizer. So I've put them in here and made drawers. Don't look at it too closely. But this is my big, tall raised bed. I have chilies in it, and then the things that are draping across the front are melons. You remember last year I tried to grow melons? Pathetic. These are doing great, and I have a whole bunch of male flowers all over this, just waiting for the females to open up, and I will start propagating. I think I might have fertilized a bit too much on some of these, or maybe they actually got crispy with a bit too much sun, but the rest of the plant is looking amazing. So fingers crossed I will get some melons. And these peppers look like just one giant mass, but the tall ones at the back are guajillo peppers and anchos, and I think I should get so much more in here. I've never had pepper plants this tall ever. In the middle there's some pumpkin jalapenos, and then I have a couple of sweet peppers in here that are, I forget what they're called, like levsik and abjarsvik. They're like Eastern European sweet peppers that almost look like a heart-shaped pepper and sweet. So I'm just trying different things that for sweet peppers other than bell peppers, because the bell pepper plants really just don't produce too many on each plant. And at the front of this are the habanadas again. I'm just going to keep trying them while I have the seeds. These are doing so much better in here. They're so much taller, and I've already got a lot of flowers on them, and so I'm really hopeful that I get a bunch of habanadas, because my goal is to try and make my own hot sauce. But oh, look at that, Lesley! A baby habanada! That's so exciting. Oh, and it still has its little collar on. I'll take that off. Oh, look at that. It's going to be a great pepper year. Anyway, that is my greenhouse, and Carrie has hooked me up with power. I'm super happy about that, so that I can have heat in here. And so if I can't get my new broccoli starts to grow outside, I'll put them in here after the peppers come out. And then the other thing he did was he hooked me up with water in here, and I'm super happy about that. And I've actually trenched it down and put drip into the raised bed that just goes off automatically every day. And then if I need to, I have a little hosey thingy down there, and I will just hose things off. It's so fun. It's so fun. Want to come over and play in my greenhouse? Okay, here we go, up on my deck. Last bit, bear with me. This is a new addition. It's a green stalk garden tower thing. I'm super happy about it. Just noticing a couple of the plants laying over, but we did just get a big rain last night. But they are all starting to do really well. I honestly only got this like a week and a half ago, and I had some plants already started, but I'm going to put, like, I've got bunching onions in there, I've got mustard leaves and some lettuces, and there's some broccoli rabe kind of stuff down below, and oregano. I'm really happy about that. I got a great deal on these terracotta pots at Home Depot. And so I loaded them up with coleus and dahlia. Can you spot the dahlia? No. There's the dahlia back there. So hopefully these dahlias shoot up here and we can have a really nice big honkin' display with petunias in the middle and then another one. And there, yes, there is a dahlia back there. That one's called Sunny Boy. I thought, being an Albertan, I should get a Sunny Boy one. So we shall see. But growing lettuce in a pot, because I feel like if I grow lettuce up here, it does so much better, far less bugs. This stuff is called Trouty Flashback Romaine. It's super fun. I know it looks like it's dying, but it's just, honestly, it's just like red speckles. And it looks so fun, festive in a salad. And then, creeping Jenny that I've thrown into my veg truck. And I lined the veg truck this year, I'll get around the umbrella, with lettuce. So I come out here every morning and I pick my lettuce for my lunch. And then I have more peppers up here. And then this section of peppers is the Carmen peppers. Now, dare I say, look at this. That's a Carmen pepper. This one's going to get yellow. There's a smaller one back there that's orange. And then there are ones at the back that are red, but I already pulled off a red one. So, but it's already getting more, like a couple of them back there. So I'm super happy about that. Hopefully this Carmen thing works out, and if it does, I will spread the word. This is my shishitos, and I'll just go in for a close-up. Look at them all. Look at them all. Hundreds and hundreds of shishitos. So I'm going to come out here this weekend and pluck all the big ones, and I'm going to start mincing them up. I might blister them on the barbecue and mince them up and freeze them and have them all year long. Super happy about that. And then these ones are a bell pepper. There is one there. But again, like, this plant might only get a couple of them. But they are orange and sweet and reputably amazing. And so I'm growing them. And I've already had one, and it's okay. And then this is another orange pepper plant back here that is really sucking. And I don't know why it's sucking and the others are doing okay. Whoa, look at how big that pepper is. Actually growing a decent sized pepper. That makes me happy. Anyway, then I've got just some planters of flowers and stuff hanging out up here, and I've got hanging baskets of these flowers that we grew. But this is what I'm super happy about. This is a Japanese maple, and I'm going to leave it in this pot and treat it almost kind of like a bonsai, and just bring it out in the summer and bring it in the winter, and hopefully I can carry on with that because it looks so cute out here when we're all eating. I feel very, I don't know, like plant-wise. I'm really not. I'm super not plant-wise. But somehow it makes me feel like I'm a bit of Mr. Miyagi. So, all right, Lesley, that is it for my tour. Thanks for hanging in there, and I can't wait to see yours.